Hello, coolers. Welcome to Viva Barca, and welcome to another interesting episode where we discuss the latest developing stories. We start with this Manchester City midfielder Ilkay Gundogan, as it has been reported that the Barcelona-linked Manchester City midfielder is yet to make a decision on his future. We are going to be discussing on that as we progress. Then, secondly, talking about Bryan Gyan, this on loan Tottenham winger, as it has been reported that the player was close to joining Barca in the January 2022 winter transfer, talking about last year. We're also going to be discussing on that. So guys, before we get right into the full story, please do ensure to subscribe, turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. With each passing day, Sergio Busquets is inching closer to the expiry of his contract with FC Barcelona. The 34-year-old is yet to receive a proposal from the club despite Xavi's insistence on retaining him for another season. With interest from MLS and Saudi Arabia, his future remains unresolved. Amidst this, Barca are looking at several possible replacement targets in case they fail to keep hold of Busquets beyond the season. Several players like N'Golo Kante, Martin Zubimendi, and Ruben Neves have been linked to the La Liga leaders in recent times. Another name that has been doing the rounds of late is that of Manchester City midfielder Ilkay Gundogan. The 32-year-old German international is in the final 5 months of his contract with the Premier League champions and has emerged on the radars of Barca. There had been speculations that he was close to signing for Barcelona, while some other outlets have reported that the veteran midfielder is negotiating a new contract with Manchester City. Fabrizio Romano has now provided an update on the situation surrounding Busquets and Gundogan, stating that Barcelona have a long list of players who they are looking at as possible replacements. At the same time, the transfer expert adds that Gundogan is yet to receive his future or decide his future amidst the constant rumors. Barcelona have a list of potential replacements in case of Busquets if he leaves. They always follow many players, Romano said. However, despite rumors, Ilkay Gundogan has not made any decision on his future yet. While that might be the case, there is a strong chance that Gundogan opts to continue at the Etihad Stadium for at least another year, especially after seeing Pep Guardiola also renew his contract with Manchester City recently. As far as a replacement for Busquets is concerned, as Romano states, Barcelona have a number of names on their list, but given their financial fair play situation, it might prove tricky to rope in a top name in the summer if their captain leaves. Ilkay Gundogan, this is not the first time we've been talking about him linked with Barcelona as Busquets, one of Busquets' replacement. We have been linked with multiple players when it comes to defensive midfield positions, and we can hear Fabrizio Romano confirming the same. But among the players, of course, Ilkay Gundogan is not a priority or the top priority that Barca want when it comes to Busquets' replacement, as Martin Zubimendi still remains Xavi's top choice. But Gundogan have showed his professionalism, showed the quality he's got playing for City. But the problem now for most of the Barca coaching staff is his age. If he wants to come, it will just be a short-term fix, unlike Martin Zubimendi, who is still very young, and that will be a very long-term solution. But nonetheless, Ilkay Gundogan still is monitored by the Barcelona, and some days back we heard about reports that the player wants to renew his contract with City, especially as Pep Guardiola also renewed his own contract earlier in the season for 2 years as Man City boss. So that is also something that will likely push him to stay at City again. So I think for that, if that's the case, actually, then Barca have no chance whatsoever to sign Ilkay Gundogan, as a player might likely to secure his future for a long term as a Manchester City player. Of course, we have been linked with multiple Manchester City players. I can't count the number. Ilkay Gundogan being one of them. Whether the move will materialize or not remains to be seen. So Busquets' contract is still something that nobody knows what will be the answer. The player is always trying to skip questions whenever being asked in the press about his future, as Busquets always hangs on the fact that time will tell. Manager Xavi is pushing for the player to stay, but it seems as though Busquets wants to leave the club. He sees himself exhausted already, and it is the right time for him to leave the club. So it all remains to be seen if actually he will leave the club or he will renew his contract with Barcelona. Then moving on to the final story of discussion, according to Edu Polo of Mundo Deportivo, Barcelona were close to signing Tottenham Hotspur winger Bryan Gyan, who is currently on loan at Sevilla, in January last year on a temporary arrangement. Barcelona were in the market for attacking reinforcements during the winter transfer window of last year and managed to bring in the likes of Ferran Torres, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Adama Traoré. However, instead of Traoré, the Catalans could have ended up with Bryan Gyan as per the aforementioned reports. Gyan had joined Tottenham from Sevilla in the summer of 2021, but had found game time hard to come by in England. Hence, he was made available for loan, and Barca explored the possibility of bringing him to Camp Nou until the end of the season. It is stated that the Blaugrana had very good reports on the 21-year-old, while Luis Enrique, who had handed him his Spain debut, had also recommended the signing. Furthermore, the report states that Gil's profile fit Xavi's requirements as he could play in multiple positions in attack and midfield. As a result, signing him on loan from Tottenham was discussed, and the Spaniard was understood to be close to joining as well. But all that changed once Josh Mendes proposed the name of Adama Traoré. Barcelona decided to go with their former La Masia trainee, putting the end to Gil's hopes of arriving at the Camp Nou. Instead, the 21-year-old signed for Valencia on the January transfer deadline day last year. After failing to get enough minutes at Tottenham again in the first half of the season, Gil is back in Spain again, having returned to Sevilla on loan last month. The winger will face off against Barca when the two clubs battle it out at the Camp Nou later tonight. Even before this report, we were linked with Bryan Gyan some years back, but the move couldn't materialize. Of course, we can't count the number of players that Barca have been showing interest in. Of course, we quite remember when Xavi came as manager, trying to strengthen the attacking line, where we have the likes of Martin Braithwaite and players like that. And that was not the kind of players that Barca should have. And strengthening the attack was a priority. We quite remember Xavi came, then the subsequent January window, we had Ferran Torres, we had Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Adama Traoré. All forwards had to join the club. And according to this revelation, Bryan Gyan was the one who was supposed to come alongside Ferran Torres and Aubameyang. But things did not work out when it comes to signing Bryan Gyan, who later moved to Sevilla that year. So things changed from there. But since then, Barca have never been showing interest in Bryan Gyan again. So we are going to meet with him. He plays now for Sevilla on loan, still a Tottenham player. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.